这个2个月期间啊，我们的一些基本要求和一些 rules。之后呢，就是由这个 Bruce 老师呢给我们大概去讲一下我们整个这个training 的一个 schedule 和一些主要的一些 key points。那现在呢，就是说大家开始就是第一就非常感谢大家能够加入这个10月班，同时呢也是怎么说呢，非常祝贺大家之后能够有这样一个机会，能够开始你人生这个 career 的第一步。因为呢，在你经历过这个2个月的 training 之后，你会发现你的变化。那所以呢，就是说我们这开班呢，这是第一个要求，我们需要，既然我们已经花了时间，我们也有这个决心，彻底改变我们就是目前的现状。这个最终目的是顺利的、快速的、有效的，能够拿到一个非常理想的 offer，这就是我们这个最终的目的，对吧？那所以呢，我们这个目标是明确的，我们信心也是有的。那下面我们的具体要求是什么呢？那就是说，第一个就是在这2个月时间，我们需要每个人需要真正的把你的思维方式就是完全打开，接受我们所教授的，同时呢，就是说努力的改变自己很多的一些想法和观念。这样的话，就是你会发现你的改变是从内到外的，是迅速的改变，所以这一点是非常重要。第二个，这个上课呢，就是我们必须每个人都是需要，呃，这个全程是你的摄像头是要开的，就是不可以就是说你只是坐那听，那是不可以的，因为这个怎么说呢？从现在开始，实际上你不再是一个学生，也不再是一个工作申请人，而是说你是被纳入了一个正式的团队。那我就是你们的 manager，我就是你们这个 director。之后呢，这个 Bruce 老师也是你们的这个一个，我们说他更高一级了，因为他的水准确实很高，那他相当于是 VP。那在这2个月时间呢，我是希望我们是一个工作团队，我们怎么样？我们的这个任务就是我们每个人在这个2到3个月内能够第一个提高自身的这个品质，我是指软技能这个方面。第二个，我们能够迅速的、有效的找到工作，这是两个我们既定目标。那现在呢，就是说从现在开始，那大家我们就是一个工作关系。那我们的工作内容就是我们每一堂课我们都有 assignment，这是工作，这不是说你在学习，而是你是一个正式的，你是需要付出很大努力的，无论从这个思想上还是从体力上，你都是需要 be ready。之后呢，一定要跟上这个节奏，一定要这个完成你所需要就是所布置的这个作业也好，和这个理解我们所讲的东西也好。所以这个需要就是说，你课上虽然1小时，你课后可能你需要10天。所以呢，就是说，虽然是2个小时的课程，但是它的内容和对你所需要做的东西，实际上是这个体量是非常大的。所以呢，我为什么这么说呢？因为就是说，让大家提前做好这个精神准备。这个这个课程不是我们想象的那个，你坐那儿听不是这样的。这是课程一个是非常非常互动的一个过程，因为我们必须要互动，我们才能够真正打破你的现有的思维方式，之后呢，让你真正能够吸收理解，但同时你课后的努力去巩固你所学到的东西。那好，那个 现在呢，就是说，我现在还有一个，就是说，我们的 Bruce 老师，就是说他呢，就是我简单介绍一下，他不仅仅是一个这个在不同的这个大型企业里，他曾历任过这个 VP 啊，这个 Senior Executive 啊，他是这个在这个作为这种 Senior Management 方面，他是非常非常有经验的。同时呢，他还是我们这个银行的这个 Executive Communication Coach。这个 coach 就是说每个这个 executive 他准备 take 更多的 responsibility 或者去升职之前，因为有的人的这个 public speaking 啊和 communication 啊这方面不够的前提下，那这个 Bruce 老师是会帮助他们做这方面 coaching 的。这个 Bruce 老师的这个 coaching fee 是非常非常昂贵的，我们这个1小时可能就相当于我们这个1/3的这个学费了。所以呢，就是说这个我们请到了 Bruce 老师给我们讲这个具体的内容，一会儿 Bruce 老师会这个具体讲一下我们的课程的每个细节。就是说我们是非常非常这个有幸的，这个请到了 Bruce 老师作为我们这个主讲。那同时呢，就是说我呢也会在每堂课期间呢穿插进入我整个20年这个整个面试的一些经验呐和我的 observation 呐，有一些基本的一些概念呐和一些基本的一个这个指导原则啊，我都会在每堂课中这个穿插跟大家来讲。那好，下面我就把这个让 Bruce 老师来介绍一下我们这个现在这个第一堂课，关于我们整个下面的一些课程安排。Okay, so now I switch to English. So now I would like to invite Mr. Bruce to give us an introduction about our class online. Thank you. Hi, Bruce.
Hey,
It's
thank
over to
you.
you.
Thank you. Can you hear me, John?
Yes.
Perfect. Listen,
We
thanks
can
very
hear you.
much. And welcome everybody. It's a pleasure to be here this evening with you all. Public service announcement. I got to say, I don't really speak Mandarin very well. So we'll have to rely on my friend John here for any translation. So preferred language is English. Hopefully that's all right with all of you. But if not, we have our dynamic translator, John Fu, at the helm as well. So happy to be here. John, I'm going to just share my screen now. We're going to jump right in, right, to the first session.
Yeah.
All right. Bear with me, please. Okay, let me know when you see it.
Yeah, we can see you. Yeah.
Okay, let me get into presentation mode. All right, here we go. So, this is the Career Readiness Coaching Program. And I thought we'd start with introductions, right? I'll go first, and then I don't know if any of the attendees can speak up or not, John, but I'll introduce myself at least, and then later on in the session we can get into student introductions if that works.
I think probably after the public session. So when we switch to the other platform, so everyone in our class can really have their camera on, and also they can speak about themselves. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we'll come back to that piece. All right. So about me. So I've had 20 years plus. Well, I can't even believe that experience in the financial services sector. I've held various leadership positions. I think John probably touched on some of those points earlier. I currently lead the digital marketing operations team for one of the big 5 banks. It's a fairly big and diverse team. And ultimately, you know, I really do have a passion for career coaching and helping others, achieve their career ambitions. So that's about me. We'll come back to the about you later on, as John mentioned. But I do want to start off with a theory that some of you may or may not be familiar with. It's called the iceberg theory. And essentially, visuals are always great. I'll start with the visual on the next slide here. So here in front of us, we have an iceberg, right? Beautiful, shiny, somewhat symmetrical iceberg. And in this program, you know, this is it's really a good, it's an analogy, if you will, in terms of what we're going to learn in this career readiness program versus what you see here in the image. So there's many ways to describe this. So John, if I was to ask you, what do you see? You'll tell me you see an iceberg, right? Which is what 9 times out of 10 people will say it's an iceberg. So John, why don't you tell me more about this visual in terms of what you see?
Yeah, so you know, to me, so when we really ready to, you know, to present ourselves, right? So that's what people see you on the top. But what really make you to be there, you see how much on the bottom. That's how much the stuff, like the learnings, the series, the mindset, the confidence, all everything, right? So the key is efforts here, right? So that means, to me, this is exactly the picture, right? So we want to achieve on the top, but we need, you know, working really hard on the bottom. And here you have the best coach, right? So you have all the series, you have all the tools. What you really need to do is working hard and open your mind. But
Very good.
then my theory may be very different from Bruce. Okay. Bruce, over to you.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think every interpretation is factual and valid, right? Because it's all about what you interpret, right? But ultimately, what I'm trying to depict here with this iceberg theory visual is really perception, right? So anything above the water in terms of what we see, what people hear, what they experience with you, this is all the perception, right? And it is what it is. So when we look at this, I see a nice shiny iceberg above the water. It's nice and white and, you know, beautiful. But what I don't see is the stuff underneath, you know, the things that John touched on, the substance, what makes us, what shapes us, right? What drives us. And that really is the reality, right? So one of the big themes in this career readiness course is how we effectively manage perception relative to what the reality is. Now, the beauty is we're humans, we're not icebergs. So we can choose what we show, what we want people to see, how we want people to perceive us. We control that, right? The things at the bottom, that's everything from your personality, right? Your various characteristics that define you, the different traits, the different quirks you may have, your educational background, the skills, the experiences that you've learned. That's all the substance that defines you. But ultimately, what I want to do in this program, alongside with John, is help you to manage the top part, the perception, because that is what all the employers are going to see. That is what all your peers are going to see. That is what I am going to see. That is what John is going to see when we go through this program. So really important. I want you to really internalize this iceberg theory, but from a perception versus reality standpoint. And the message here is that we can control the perception, right? We have full control over that. The iceberg cannot decide to show the tip. In our instance, as humans, we can, right? So the perception is very, very important because really perception forms the reality. Okay, so this is a theme I want you to remember. I want you to internalize and think back to this as we go through the program. All right, so what do I want you to get out of this program? Okay, it's very simple. I think if I was to boil it down, there's really 4 key things. The first is competitive edge. So from a career perspective, right, tons of competition out there. In fact, right now, the job market or the labor market is very competitive because there's not a lot of vacant jobs available. During COVID, when companies were spending so much money, right, on the new ways of doing business, there was what I call a massive expansion in hiring, right? Even on my team, there were so many people that I lost through regular turnover because they were joining other companies. It was a hiring bonanza, right? Very easy to find a job back then. If you had a pulse, you knew how to navigate Microsoft, you pretty much could guarantee yourself a job. Now, fast forward to 2024, things are a little different now. We've gone through some of the highest rates of inflation. We've gone through fiscal tightening, which is slowly starting to loosen up. And as a result of that, job vacancies were pretty thin. Okay. Now, the good news is that that will turn around. With every cycle, there's expansion and then there's contraction. So we are now coming out of a contraction phase and getting into I call it the upward expansion phase. So that's the good news. So the first piece here, competitive edge. Yes, right now and at any given time, there's always going to be competition for the jobs that you want to seek and the jobs that you want to apply for. There will always be competition 9 times out of 10, right? So I think this program will help equip you with the competitive edge that you need to succeed, whether you're launching your career, whether you're just started out in your career and you're looking for your next move, whether you're established in your career and you're looking to laterally move to another function to gain a different perspective. At the end of the day, this program will really lean in on giving you that career edge. The second thing I want you to get out of this program is confidence. So I think what most of us lack is confidence, right? Confidence is key. If you want to succeed, whether you are running a marathon, right? Whether you are doing a triathlon, whether you're in an interview, it's the same level of confidence that you need to bring, right? Consider yourselves as corporate athletes, right? You've got to prepare, you've got to train, and you've got to have the confidence. Olympians that win gold medals don't go in thinking, oh my God, I'm really nervous, I'm really scared, I don't know if I can do this. It's the opposite. They're going in with a winning mentality. They're going in knowing that they can do it, knowing that they can win it, knowing that they can get the gold medal. And that's really what I want to emphasize here is the mindset is critical. So having the confidence, having that mindset in everything you do, whether it's the first interview, the second interview, the third interview, making a proposal, making a pitch to the executives. At the end of the day, confidence is absolutely critical. Having the knowledge, the background, and the experience is important, but those that have the confidence will have the additional edge on those that don't have the confidence. Okay, so that's the second piece. Number 3, a playbook. So the way that John and I have designed this program, right, across the 9 different sessions, when you look through all the sessions that we will take you through, this will form the basis of a playbook that you can go back to at any given time, right? You take the program once, you can leverage the course material as much as you like in perpetuity. This playbook will help set you up for success and sustainment ongoing. This is not a one and done thing. Okay, what we're training here is really lifelong career guidance, right? And advice that will help you. So the third piece is a playbook. And lastly, a career compass, right? At any given time, whether you are starting out, whether you're midway through your career or towards the end of your career, very important that you have a compass. You have a direction that you want to go in. A North Star is a term that's often used, right? That is your career North Star. What is that? You tell me. Having a North Star will help you get there, right? This program will help set you up so that you're always thinking ahead. You're always thinking about not just your current job, but your next job, the next opportunity. And what do you need to do to grow in order to get and realize those opportunities? So those are the 4 things: competitive edge, the confidence, a playbook, and lastly, a career compass. So I know John's talked about some of the items that we'll be covering, but I'll go into a bit more depth in terms of the different sessions within our career readiness program. So there's really 9 sessions, right? Number 1, you're in it. This is the introduction. It's getting to know you, you getting to know me, getting comfortable with our sessions, with our style. The second session is around first impressions and elevator pitches, right? Elevator pitches are something that we all need to have, right? As much as you have a resume, an elevator pitch is a must-have. There are good elevator pitches, there are so-so elevator pitches, and there are bad elevator pitches. We only want to train you on the good elevator pitches. Your elevator pitch is going to stick with you through your entire career, but it will always evolve with you, right? That's the key. It isn't just a once in a moment time thing. It's evolving with you. As you grow in your career, as you gain new skills, as you gain new experiences, your elevator pitch will adapt and will evolve as you grow and adapt within your career. The third session is your personal brand, right? Very, very important. It's all about knowing yourself and knowing what you want your personal brand to be. So if we think back to the iceberg theory, right? The top of the iceberg, in terms of what is above the water, that is what everyone is seeing. That is your personal brand, right? The stuff underneath it helps to support it, but at the end of the day, you control what people see and what your brand is. So session 3 is all about personal brand. Session 4, we call fondly the art of storytelling. Many ways to communicate, right? We're all human. We all have most of us have the ability to articulate ourselves, whether it's body language, whether it's articulation, verbal articulation. The art of storytelling is something that you can never, ever underestimate, right? If you practice it and if you get good at it, this will become a strength. And once this becomes a strength, it will set you apart from all the competition. It will help you tremendously, believe me. Whether you're communicating with your boss, whether you're communicating in an interview, whether you're networking and communicating, meeting someone for the first time, the art of storytelling will serve you well if you are able to master it. Critical skill, right? It's probably one of the, I'd say, next to listening, the art of storytelling is probably one of the most important communication skills to have. We will guide and train you on how to dissect your thoughts, how to pull them back together, and how to tell it in a coherent story. Session 5 is the first of our resume building sessions, and this is around structure and tips. In this session, we'll get into the different kind of styles of resumes, right? What to include, what not to include, right? And just having awareness in terms of all the different software programs that companies and organizations and HR teams use to cycle through different resumes, because they receive hundreds, if not thousands, of resumes for different positions. They're not going through each and every one. They let the algorithms sort through the top 50 or the top 10. So in session 5, it's really around how to structure your resume, right? Knowing that there are algorithms and software programs out there that employers use, it really is informing you on how to build it properly. And then session 6 is really a continuation. It's a build on session 5. And it's really about, we call it bringing it to life, but a better way to phrase it is tailoring it to the job that you're applying for. If somebody tells me that they have one and only one version for every job that they've applied for, I'd say that that is a recipe for disaster, right? The key here is to tailor and personalize your resume for every different job that you're applying to. And within this session, we will be training and teaching you the tips and the tricks on how to align it properly to the job, right? And that will help to ensure that your resume gets into that last final 50 or final 20 or final 10, and you really set you up for kind of the best chance of getting the interview, because the resume process in and of itself is one phase. We want to make sure that your resume gets you the interview that you deserve. Number 7. So now we're getting really into what I call the soft skills, right? So the interview process itself, how to prepare for commonly asked questions. So I know a lot of folks that have probably signed up for this program probably have diverse backgrounds, diverse experiences, different types of education, but more or less you'll be, going for similar roles, whether it's business analyst, data scientist, all those types of roles. The interview process, right, is going to have consistent themes, whether you're applying for a bank, whether you're applying to a packaged goods company, whether you're applying to some other industry. There will always be thematic or commonly asked questions based on that function or that role that you're applying to. So in session 7, we will help prepare you for those anticipated questions. Session 8, continuation of our interview process. And it's really zeroing in on the behavioral side of things, right? So all interview processes, from, a junior job to a senior job, there's always going to be elements of behavioral questions, right? So this is the session where we will help prepare you for those behavioral, situational questions, if you like, and, ensure that once you've successfully gone through the commonly asked questions, you don't lose in the behavioral side. You got to be strong as well, right? So it's strength across all types of questions that will be coming at you and making sure that you're prepared for them. And the last session is very practical. This is about one-to-one interview prep. So typically speaking, what we do is we will essentially do one of two things. You can say to John and I, all right, just want to do a mock interview for a fictitious job, or you can actually apply for a job, go through the interview process, and we will prep you through that process. So it's almost like we're like your co-pilot in a way. So that's the last piece, right? It's the one-to-one interview prep, whether it's a mock simulation or the real thing. Either way, we're good. Okay? But that'll depend on you, and that'll depend on the jobs you've applied to and your personal situation. All right, so we've covered off what we're going to be going through the 9-session program. I would like to now talk about rules of engagement. So rule number 1, right? In our program, this is a safe space. We have mutual respect for each other, and it is judgment-free. Okay, so ask all the questions that you want to ask. If there's something you're not sure about, don't hesitate. Just ask it. No one's going to judge you. At least I'm not going to judge you. John won't judge you. Judgment-free zone. We have respect for one another. If there's something that I said that you're not sure about, or you want me to repeat, go ahead and ask it. All right? This is about you getting the most out of this program and getting the learnings that you need to succeed. Rule number 2, there is zero invisibility. So my number 1 rule, which is actually number 2 here, is no hiding, right? Students can't hide. Cameras need to be on at all times. So once you actually start, right, the actual training itself, cameras are on. Interview process, when you're actually interviewing for a job, you got to turn your camera on. You're not keeping your camera off, right? You're turning it on. Or you're there in person, right? So if there's no hiding when it comes to the interview process, or when you're actually starting your job or doing a job, there should be no hiding in this program either. It has to be consistent with the real world. Rule 3, as I mentioned, please ask questions. If you have a thought, if you have a build on something that we've said, if something's not clear, please either use the chat feature or raise your hand, right? Happy to have the dialogue. Ask the questions. Rule 4, one of my favorites, get into your discomfort zone. We really, look, for you to be successful in anything you do, you need to step out of your comfort zone. Somebody once said, if you want something that you've never had, you need to do things you've never done, right? Think about that. If you want something you've never had, you need to do things you've never done. So in the interview process for any job, you're gonna have to be uncomfortable at some point. I would rather you start getting uncomfortable in our session so that once you're in a real session or in a real life situation, right, whether it's an interview or a presentation, you're going to be used to the discomfort. Believe me, you know, John and I, we've done many presentations to audiences in the hundreds. The first time, I'll admit, shit's scary, right? Really, really, really scary. But as you start to get comfortable with that, right? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, things get easier, right? Things get a lot more fluid. So get into your discomfort zone. Don't be afraid of being uncomfortable, all right? That's the only way that we grow from a career perspective and across other aspects of our lives. Get uncomfortable. Rule 5, and this is the, there's one more rule after this, but rule 5, stay engaged. You must stay engaged throughout this program. The more engaged you are in the program, the more you will get out of this program, right? Participate, be active in our discussions. And if not, I will call on you from time to time. So if we don't hear from you, we will call you out and say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? What have you experienced based on the situation we just talked about? So we will make sure that you are engaged. So I'd rather you all actively be engaged because it'll save John and I the effort and the hassle of actually calling you out. And the last rule of engagement, yes, there will be homework, right? I want to be upfront. There will be homework. Just like school, you're going to be assigned homework. Now, we're not talking hours and hours and hours of homework, right? It's things that will help you and help us advance to the next sessions and ensure that you're understanding what you've learned in each session. That's the purpose. That'll be the nature of the homework assignments. And it's not because we don't like you, it's because we want you to succeed, right? It's really important. This isn't just 1 to 2 hours every Friday. This is something that you're going to take and you're going to use for the rest of your career. So you better start practicing the things we teach, and this will be manifested through the homework that we assign. So that's it for the rules of engagement. I don't think the question feature works, John, unless you tell me differently.
Yeah, so Bruce, just back to your last, maybe number 5, the rules. I just want to expand about it. So basically, this is a 2 months, right? 2 months program. Basically, we have about 8, group sessions. So here, I really want everyone who joined the program take these 2 months as your best time investment for your entire current and future career. So please make sure you are 100% in, number 1, and try to, remove any noise, remove any other engagement, vacations, trips, all the things. Even though we have videos, right? You can watch the videos, but I'm guarantee it's very different from you go through with everyone here and engage, go with that flow, and growing together is critical for your success, critical for the maximum learning experience. So that's, I would say, putting engagement, and not only about the class engagement, but for the entire program, please 100% put yourself in. So that's what I want to add here.
Thanks, John.
Okay, I think we'll move to next stage. So maybe we can take a break here, right? So to see any questions. Anyone have any question, you can either probably you cannot really ask through mic, but you can put into chat. Bruce and me will take 5 minutes to answer your question here. Any questions?
Let's have a look at the chat.
Yeah. So far, we don't have any questions.
That's either good or bad.
I think it is good. At least people are clear on what. Okay, so okay, so I think at least we are clear on what the class is, what we can do for you, right? Okay, David, I think we want to go back to original platform for the next half. Basically, we can allow everyone able to show their face, and they can speak because that's required. So I think this first half session will be end here. So we will join.
Yeah, of course. Perfect.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So we'll come back in. I say we come back at 9.
I'm sending another Zoom code to our class group.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a second, and then all the
Join
students
back in.
go to another Zoom meeting now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So if David, if you see any question from
sure.
others, please let me know. Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Thanks, Dave. We'll see you on the other side.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, see you in the another class, and I will leave to introduce this course to the other audience.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
好，那我们再和大家同学这个告知一下，如果是我们的学员的话，哈，如果是我们的自己的学员的话，麻烦看一下我们的学员群，我就发了下半节课的 Zoom ID 和链接哈，麻烦我们的这个学员移步到我们的新课的这个就是下半节课的这个课堂，然后呢，这个继续我们课程的内容哈。那我们今天的这个试听的这个部分哈。也是暂时先告一段落啊。那今天是我们的新班开课，也开放了大家一个试听，让大家感受一下我们的这个 Career Readiness Coaching 的这个course 的大概的内容哈。第一节课也是会和大家介绍一下我们的这个可能会这个涉及到哪些内容哈。还有呢，就是让大家看一下我们的学员的这个成果，对吧？大家上完课之后的感受，以及我们的学员的这个就业以及这个效果，对吧？像上一期的我们的学员哈，就这个上一期是6月班哈，这个6月开班，结束的时候是9月份啊，9月份我们刚刚结束的这个班，我们的学员已经有人就业了哈，那是他之前一会儿会和大家在这个分享一下他的采访或者说是他的这个就业经历的一个分享啊，他简而言之，他就是之前呢也是投了200份吧，他接近200份的简历，那可能就收到了1-2份的这样的 一个这个回音啊，让他去面试。那之后呢，他就是自从上赵老师的这个和 Bruce 老师这个系列课之后呢，他就暂时没有再去投递。然后呢，在我们课程接近尾声的时候，他就开始重新投递了。他就投了5份简历哈，只投了5份简历，最终呢收到了2个 offer 啊。那他来分享的时候也是正好他刚刚收到 offer 的时候，在我们课程还没有结束啊，是我们的一位学姐的分享。那还有呢，就是也是非常最近啊，也就是在一个月之内啊，我们的学员也是纷纷这个正在面试啊，正在面试的过程当中啊。下周有一个面试哈，能不能够做一下面试指导哈，和我们的学员做面试邀请，同时把这个职位也发给老师了哈。然后呢，这个赵老师当晚啊，今晚9点半啊，咱们这个就是进行一个1对1的指导啊，在我们的面试之前，及时给我们学员做辅导哈。那么还有这个同学就是赵老师好，我上周五收到邮件，过了第1轮了啊，也是祝贺我们这个同学。现在第2轮面试变成了 Senior Business Analyst 啊，这个是这个职位也是不错哈，Senior 职位哈。然后这个就非常感谢您和 Bruce 老师的付出，辛苦了啊。第2轮会在2周内通知什么时候面试，到时候可以和您做个 mock interview，对吧？这个也是我们的学员和老师来约一个这个1对1的内容哈。还有这个同学 interview is done 啊，让老师问他这个已经怎么样了啊，这个可以哈，然后觉得还不错哈。这个是我们的学员近期的这一些这个简历面试的情况哈。那我们这一个班呢，基本就是收8个学员啊，8个学员。大家也都在如火如荼的进行这个面试的过程当中啊。然后还有一些成功的学员，这是比较早的这个 case 了哈。这个不知道庄老师刚才有没有介绍过啊？这些都是庄老师之前辅导的一些学生。简而言之呢，他们就是有各种各样的除了技术问题以外的这样的欠缺啊。当然，小的技术问题我们也可以做调整啊。更多的学员就是技术已经非常过关了，但是可能有一些华人的通病，尤其在面试方面的这些问题啊，还有一些比如说他这个面试的思路啊，像我记得清楚赵老师说了一个例子啊，就是这位同学呢刚从国内。本身有很强的国内的工作经验的背景啊，但是从国内来了之后，他英语也并不差，但是他的面试的思路和回答问题的方式呢，确实不太符合北美的一个认知啊，确实不太符合，所以说呢，给他做一个简单的调整之后，很快就可以找到工作了。但是如果差了这个调整的话，因为他自己也觉得，或者咱们自己人来看的话，他真的是面试没有什么太大问题，但就是接不到任何的 offer，就是因为他对于北美文化或者说在面试当中的表现确实不太符合我们的这个呃应聘者的一个要求哈。这只是举的一些简单的例子哈，每个同学的身上可能在找到工作之前都会有些他个人的一些小缺点、小这个劣势哈。还有呢，就是我们这个课程的系列呢，就是关于就和我们的面试其实也是相当于一个销售哈，但是销售的就是我们个人，销售我们自己，就是我们的课程当中一个非常重要的这个 personal branding 的这个过程啊。那么在销售的过程当中，要展示出我们的一个实力，对吧？如何在快速的比如说这个 elevator pitch 啊，就是在1分钟之内如何展现出我们的个人的一个特点，然后让人留下深刻的印象。那其实，在我们的面试的过程当中，有一个说法就是，你的面试是否成功，可能就决定在开头的前5分钟哈。如果这个学生前5分钟没有留下好印象的话，你后面说的再多，基本上很难再去改变对方的要求了。然后，如果是前5分钟留下了好印象，后面呢，其实也都是走一个简单的过程啊。所以说呢，我们这个都是你要注意的一些地方哈。当然，课程当中会有很多很多更详细的内容来教授给大家这个我今天就不多说了。那我们的 career readiness coaching course 呢，那我们的这个今天是我们的新班开课啊。那么这个以后固定在每周五的7点到10点，7点到9点都是多伦多时间。那总共14课20个小时哈，14课二十个小时。那么这个14课呢都是线上的直播啊，就像刚才的这个上课的情况，就是 Bruce 老师和郑老师来给大家共同的来上课。2位呢都是五大行的高管啊，都是Senior Director 还有 Director 级别的高管啊。那么 以这个面试官的角度，以这个企业主的角度来和大家去做面试的辅导啊。那么本身呢，这个20个小时都是线上的直播，除了20小时以外，我们还会给大家每一个同学做1对1的模拟面试及指导啊。就像刚才我们的这些所有的学员都可以和我们的老师再约1对1哈，再约1对1的时间，这些都不算在20个小时当中啊。尤其是非常重要的，就是大家在接到面试邀请的之前，或者说是我们即将要申请一个职位之前，来给大家做的考前的模拟、考前的押题，这是非常重要的一个过程哈。那么，如果是我们的这个数据学员哈，就是我们的维多利亚教育集团的数据学员的话，报名这个课程就是说您已经上过我们维多利亚任何一位数据老师的这个课程的话，那我们的这个课程就给大家一个特别优惠，是2999元含税如果不是之前没有上过我们的数据课程的话，那就是3499元含税为什么这个价格上有一个差异呢？其实就是给我们的数据学员优惠更大一点原因有2点第一点就是如果在我们这边上过数据课的同学呢，那我们简而言之就是辅导起来肯定会更简单一点。我们都知道我们的数据老师的这个水平和这个大家的一个硬技能肯定是非常过关的所以说我们辅导起来肯定会省力一点第二点呢，就是我们的也是回馈我们的老学员所以说这个2点，这个让我们的这个数据学员报名的话，优惠力度更大但如果您不是我们的数据学员的话，也是有一个优惠，是3499元含税。那关于课程的咨询和报名呢，都可以扫描屏幕右侧的二维码微信 ID 是 VIC Job for You，这个二维码也可以这个搜索来这个添加和报名。但是屏幕右侧的这个二维码可以进行扫码和添加。那微信 ID 是 VIC Job for You 那另外呢，我们的这个付款方式付款方式呢，总共有3种，可以刷卡，可以 EMT 电子转账，可以微信、支付宝来进行付款。那如果想要刷卡的话，可以拨打需要前台电话41665138 41665138，或者您加完微信之后，微信语音也可以进行刷卡。第2种呢，如果需要银行电子转账，请转到 mariasun@bsccollege.com，email transfer 银行电子转账 EMT 的方式。那么加完微信之后，这个也会发给大家。那还有呢，如果是您想要支付这个人民币的话，也可以通过扫描中间的这个二维码，输入加币金额2999或3499元，会按照实时汇率给您兑换出您所需要支付的人民币的金额那不管您用哪种方式去支付，别忘了第一步还是加微信加微信，直接扫描二维码或者搜索微信 ID VIC 找归右或者闪灵定 CHILENETNG 这个微信 ID 都可以好，看一下大家还有没有更多的问题，有问题的话也欢迎大家提出那再强调一下，我们今天是新班开课总共10周的课程，那么每周呢上2个小时，都是固定的时间，多伦多时间7点到9点，上课采用线上的直播，课后有录像回放。然后呢，我们的课程呢是20个小时，再加上1对1的模拟面试及指导。这20个小时，这个1对1是单独的这个不包括在这个20个小时，20个小时都是线上的，给大家去做这个指导。那么1对1呢是根据大家的这个时间，尤其是在准备要面试的时候会给大家做这个考前的押题如果是我们的数据学员呢，就是特价2999元含税；如果非数据学员是3499元含税。这样的一个情况好，那如果没有更多的问题的话，我们今天的这个整个试听和我们的课程的讲解呢，就暂时先告一段落。那下面呢，会给大家播放一下我们的就业的学员的经验分享，来听一听这个上完课之后他的感受，对吧？这个课程如何帮到他，如何呢在这个面试方面给他一个翻天覆地的一个变化
讲一下你的求职经历然后这个Joy老师也可以点评一下这个学员学习过程当中出现哪些问题，大家怎么样一起齐心协力克服。 个美女 Christina，然后呢，祝贺她找到了心仪已久的这样一份专业工作啊，谢谢。好的，亲爱的，我把时间交给你啊，感谢，祝贺啊。
谢谢校长，然后也谢谢大家能给我这个机会来分享我的经历。然后我就稍微介绍一下我的背景吧。我是多大那个化学系毕业的，然后毕业之后呢，我在化学方面有过一份工作，大概1年左右。然后我想说，薪水确实有点低，然后就想说要转行。然后在朋友的介绍下，就知道这个维多利亚有。
你先回吧，我等我老公他过来搬电视，我等他过来。
对，然后就是我朋友介绍，就是维多利亚，他有这个就是数据分析班的那个技术学习嘛，然后我就报了这个课，然后就是我的那个的 technical 那边 skills 已经 set 好了之后，我还参加过一个实习，然后就开始投简历，大概投了个100-200份吧，只收到过一个面试，然后当时收到面试，觉得信心来了。然后一轮就挂了，然后信息又没了。正好这时候就看到仲老师他有那个就业保证班的那个广告，然后我想说那听一下吧，然后就没想到这么快就能找到这个工作机会，是非常感谢老师，因为我那个情况比较紧急，我好像是中午的时候。就是大概晚上5-6点，我投了这个简历，半个小时之后就收到 HR 的电话，他邀请我下个星期周三面试，然后我说行，然后还是 in person 的，就是我也没有参加过这种 in person 的面试，第一面就是跟 CEO 还有那个 director，然后我当时特别紧张，然后我周六晚上的时候就联系了郑老师，我说能不能给我一点建议，毕竟没几天了嘛。然后老师也是非常紧急的跟我的 mock 了好多遍，然后也是根据那个 JD 给我一行行的过，告诉我这个面试可能会问到什么问题，告诉我怎么回答。如果我有回答不好的地方，他会帮我修正，用他的经历来告诉我怎么样才是一个让就是雇主比较满意的答案。然后非常感谢老师，然后也是就是上完这个课之后，也就是感觉时间也没多久，然后就收到了2份面试吧，然后都过了，然后都挺好的，也是非常惊喜。然后就是就是现在确实找工作不容易，我觉得郑老师这个课确实是给了我很多信心，然后我觉得挺好的，谢谢大家。
哇哦，太棒了！我们大家祝贺一下好吗？这个我听了我都觉得特别开心啊！这个也感谢周二老师，周二老师在吗？周二老师可以这个鼓励一下我们的学员吗？这个看看周二老师在不在？周二老师。
好吧，那这个就是我们就业的学员的经验分享，对吧？那么最后呢，大家有任何问题就是加微信吧，然后最后再和大家分享一下我们近期的活动安排啊。从明天晚上开始，明晚呢是关于 HAVC 啊冷暖气考牌就业全攻略，薪水高好就业的铁饭碗啊，关于这个技工的讲座。就是明晚的8点钟啊，明晚8点钟，Zoom ID 81685340281。那么周日晚上是有这个 AI 专场的哈，但是这个青少年 AI，那么世界最权威的3大机器人竞赛哈，它也是全球排名第一的双组机器人世界杯，那么叫做 FIRA 啊，那么在我们的多伦多高端思想会啊，也是特别邀请加拿大 FIRA 的协会的主席 Sam 啊来这个分享。另外呢，还会和大家来讲一讲青少年如何参加这个无人机比赛啊，无人机竞赛的其中，这是 FIRA 的其中的一个项目啊。当然，FIRA 当中有20多个项目吧。然后呢，我们也邀请到了冠军队哈 k a w a s h 那他们是连续3年获得了这个世界杯的冠军。当然，他们的 team 不止夺过 FIRA 的冠军，还夺过这个其他的2大机器人竞赛的冠军啊。如何夺取3连冠啊？如何培养孩子进入 AI 机器人的世界？那么夺冠啊，有一个直观的好处啊，就是可以 申请名校对于这个尤其是常春藤名校的话，都是有非常大的一个加分的另外呢，这个周六线下主讲座RBC 约克大区的行长亲临面试女神教您通关秘籍 RBC 银行的招聘说明会那么 RBC 的约克大区的区长 Janice 会来和线下和大家来发布一些约克 region 正在招聘的职位另外呢也是会招聘银行的前台和销售的工作包括RBC 叫做这个BA 和 CA Customer Advisor 和这个 Banking Advisor 其实就是一个前台的客服和一个前台的一个销售工作。那么明天呢会直接收简历，然后面试。那这是我们的第一轮面试的筛选10月24号将是我们的下一轮的面试，那就是第二轮。那么第二轮的面试就直接带着大家去和行长分行的行长来去面试了这个所以说这第一轮的面试明天已经是最后一次了，最后一次，大家可以感兴趣的话可以把握这次机会。地点在801 York Mills Road 200号，然后这个想要参加的话，直接扫描二维码然后同时明天也会和大家来分享一些主题比如说这个家国银行工作必须要了解的面试细节还有说如何从银行的前台转到高薪的中后台的职位数据IT 这样的讲座，明天也会和大家来分享这些方法和这个技巧。那么周日的电工专场，如何快速考出家国电工证书，加入工会，享受高薪和稳定电工评估考证，就业一条龙这个是电工考证就业的讲座地点在 Unit A 9030 Wesley Street Richmond Hill。这是我们近期的线下讲座了。那么线上周六的2点钟有大数据，4点钟有地产经济考牌，8点钟有 HAVC 的考证。周日早上10点半有财务分析师新班开课，这也是一个就业热门那3点钟有 AI 商业数据师的数据分析师的就业讲座，8点钟有这个 AI 机器人青少年 AI 机器人的讲座欢迎大家参加，也欢迎大家这个了解详情，直接扫描二维码可以和我们来进行交流沟通。然后呢，我们今天的基本上所有的内容呢就到此为止了再次感谢我们今天的这个主讲嘉宾John 老师以及 Bruce 老师的一个这个内容的分享那这个我们的最后再和大家说明一下，如果是我们自己的学员如果是我们自己的学员的话，麻烦看一下学员群麻烦要看一下郑老师的这个学员群。我们的下半节课呢将会在另一个 ID 当中继续上课，不在本直播间上课了那麻烦请我们的正式学员一定要转到这个我们的下半节课的 Zoom ID 好，那谢谢大家的收听，谢谢老师的分享，也感谢我们的学员的支持。那我们今天的讲座内容到此为止，祝大家晚安。